Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dallas Makerspace. This is at 2995 Ladybird Lane. I decided to make a quick video about this place because I wasn't able to find anything on YouTube about it. So let's go ahead and get in here and check it out and see what's going on in this place. Alright. Now, all paying members, $50 a month, get this little RFID key. So, unlock our door, we'll get in here. 24-hour access. This is our main hallway. You can see a member down there. Hello, member.
Hello.
Yeah. Over here we have our lounge. First thing on your right as you come in. Lots of video games, all sorts of good stuff in here. That's a Chromecast TV, so if there's anything on YouTube that you want to play on your phone, you can. Every last Saturday of the month we have board game night. Let's go over here to our electronics and robotics room. Now the Dallas Personal Robotics Group, this is kind of their hub. They do everything in here that's robotics based, but if you want to do any kind of electronic product, or if you're curious about how electronics go together or soldering, anything like that, this is the place to come. These are all different components, and to my understanding, anyone in the space can come in and use these if they so choose, as long as you don't mass produce anything with them. You're free to take what you need. We have two soldering stations with all these cool oscilloscopes in between. So you've got all your detritus here. Yeah, microscopes, wicking thread, all that good stuff. And over there is our CNC PCB cutter. So if you want to make a custom printed circuit board, this is the machine to do it. I do not know how this works, but I do know that folks do. So if you want to come to the space and ask, you can learn. Moving on. Alright, we have our little library here. The laser computer, and this is our CNC laser cutter. Oh. This is an amazing machine. It does require training to use, but you can laser cut just about anything. We have vectoring, which there's an example back here that somebody left for us. And up there we have rastering. Somebody took a sheet of metal and cut the Joker's face into it. So that's what you can do with a laser. On in here, this is the 3D fabrication room. We've got all kinds of examples of 3D printed objects here. Yeah, that was all 3D printed in one solid piece. Look at the detail on that. Cool little mechanical heart. We've also got people that do artistic stuff. They'll scan their faces or print 3D sculptures. All sorts of manner of things. There's useful items here. Just whimsical stuff. Oh, and in the back here you can see this is a piece of granite tile that was laser cut into a chessboard. There's a gentleman here that makes these. That's just one of his simpler ones. The Celtic knot one is really fantastic. And here are the things that created those 3D printed objects. These are the Polyprinter 3D printers. We have got a couple of these. And the beautiful thing about Polyprinter is that they are a company in Midlothian, Texas. They're local. A lot of their employees are members at the space. So we kind of have free maintenance on all these machines. They come in there and they service them. These are the only 3D printers, to my knowledge, that you can actually get sold to you as a complete operational set. And the service they have is phenomenal. I can attest to that personally. This is our ham radio station here. We have a new antenna on the roof so that these guys can communicate and listen in on everything in the area. Up here we have, not all of our drones, but a small drone fleet from our aeronautics division. Aerospace, I should say. In here is the security room. We also have our server behind it, but in here is the security room. If you have anything that's bladed, or if you want to reload guns or anything like that, there's somebody's sword in the back. You can make all this cool stuff here. Let's see, where else are we going to go? Creative Arts, let's go there next. This is the Creative Arts room. You have a creative person in the Creative Arts room, isn't that cool?
What?
I know. Yep. We have all these different equipment, anything from painting. Well, it covers a lot of things here. Can become art if you do it right.
Yeah.
But we got subversive knitting that happens in here. We have the live drawing classes. They don't necessarily have them in this room, but that's part of the Creative Arts Committee. Mm-hmm. We have some really awesome computers in the back. I do not know if they have the full Adobe suite on them yet, but I thought that was something they planned. So all the good Photoshop and photo editing stuff and drawing. I know that Heather Willie Me does animation on those computers, so they got to be something. Okay, let's go in here. This is our dark room. That's a work of the vinyl cutter, Pierce's fault. Let's go in here and check it out. I warn you, it's going to be really dark. Don't panic. Or not. Someone has left a light on. Must be doing something in here. But yeah, let me go ahead and turn the big light on. This here is our photo processing lab. We do have Photo Fridays. I think that they may be the last Friday of the month as well. We have a lot of classical books and classical cameras here. I am not quite sure of everything, but I do think that you can actually borrow some of the cameras here, with permission of course, and go out and take photographs with them and learn how to do it. We also have a lot of screen printing going on right now, so if people are into making their own t-shirts, we are working on that process right now. Oh, before we go, I gotta show you this. Turn the light off so you can see it. Creepy Nicolas Cage in the light! Don't you love vinyl cutters? Anyway, let's go on. Back in the world of living. To our left here, we have the Lady Bird Side classroom. This is a general purpose room, so if there's any classes going on, you can come in here and usually find something happening. There's a big TV. We have all these whiteboards that if they're not used for a class are open for anybody, and if a class is not being taught at the space, this room is general purpose. Anyone can come in here and use it. Across the way we have our little galley. So if you're into food, we have some food in here. We do not have a cooking committee as of yet, but it is something that a lot of people are hearkening for, so we'll leave that as it is and keep on going. Got a bathroom in here if you need it. And this is our workshop with our cool laser cut window. This is the heart of the space. All sorts of amazing stuff happening here. We've got the shop divided up into, I would reckon, about 3 sections. Here in this big red section on the floor and on the wall here, we have our auto committee. We have a lot of gentlemen here that have lots of vehicles they're working on souping up and taking care of. We also have a Tesla electric charger, so if anybody has an electric car, they can charge it here. Let's see. Let's go over to the wood side real quick. Got some big tables. We do have a strict clean table policy here to keep clutter off the tables. There's our sand blaster. Along the wall there we have all our saws and clamps and tools, and if you want to listen to music, you totally can. There's some drivers, and I think there's the router tables under there. This is our giant table saw. This is one of the only other pieces of equipment in the makerspace that you actually have to have some kind of training to run, because we like to keep our fingers, and we want to encourage everybody else to as well. There's the drill press and the big bandsaw over there next to yet another sand blaster. This is our big vacuum filter and our wee table saw. Alright, and through here we have our sheet metal brake and some sheet metal. The beautiful thing about all this stuff, and some scrap wood, all these things, if they're not labeled, usually they're free to use by the populace, so good stuff. This is our gigantic lathe. I do not know if it is 100% operational or not, but I do know that they are working on it all the time. And back in the back there is our pride and joy, but been causing us a lot of headaches. That's our CNC plasma cutter. We're going to getting it operational so that we can do all sorts of amazing stuff with it. Cut out some 3D metal parts. Or not 3D metal parts, but just metal parts. This is our CNC milling machine that we are working on right now. I don't understand how it works, but there will be classes. That's going to be fantastic when it gets up and running. In here we have a small welding shop, a couple of welders in the back, some grinders, some other good stuff. There's all sorts of protective gear around here. We encourage our personnel to use it. And over there you can see it. That is our gas-fired forge. And I'll just get a closer look at this weld. Let me see it. This is our gas-fired forge. And here we have our charcoal forge. And we have our collection of anvils and blacksmithing tools. Every second Sunday we have a blacksmithing workshop, and it's about $10 to cover the cost of materials, but you can come here and learn from a master blacksmith everything you need to know about how to make whatever you want. Cool stuff. Let's keep on going. This doorway here, this is all the space used to be until we took over there, and we cut this door to go through here. This is our storage warehouse. We have a lot of cool projects hanging out in here waiting to be finished. And over here we have committee shelving, so you can kind of see aerospaces. They've got a big drone in there they're working on. Big helicopter, it looks like. Creative arts. Got the electronics and the robotics committee up there. There's the bio committee with a lot of stuff. Boxes, containers, things that we need. This is project storage, so if anybody has stuff that's too big to leave here, or too big to take home I should say, they can leave it here for a temporary amount of time, and you can have your name on it so that it won't get thrown away. The policy is about 2 weeks though, so keep an eye on your stuff. This is the spinner thing for the screen printing. Don't know how it works, but there it is. Have a vending machine project folks are working on. This is our pottery wheel and our 2 giant kilns. This is a really, really exciting corner right here, because this is the foundry committee space. So they've been doing stuff with lost wax casting in that kiln there and hardening investment. And I think that they have some examples, if I can locate them. Oh, they put them here. Here are a few examples. Now they do have, it's not a regular thing yet, but they do have classes where they have people come out and you can learn how to do foundry metal casting. This is a metal cast done of a 3D printed object. So the biggest trouble with most people is that, like me, we're not necessarily very artistic, but we can 3D print something. So we'll 3D print it, and then we can make an exact duplicate of it in metal now. And here's another one down here. This is a 3D scanned bust of John Kay. He's our committee chairman's head. And here is a metal cast version. He has a lot to complain about this, but I still think it's impressive that, hey, he got that to happen. So, cool stuff. Alright, moving on. Through this door here, we get into the Monroe side of the space, corresponding with the road outside it. This room, as we first come in, this is our vinyl cutter, smart vending machine, and micro soldering station, or surface mount station if you want to say it. This is a really cool piece of equipment. This very nice microscope, and what they do is, let me see if I can find an example. I have actually learned how to do this from the gentleman that runs it, Alan Wan. Oh, here we go. So, everything on this tiny circuit board was done by hand, and it's pretty quick. And this is, I think it's a TTL converter, but you can come in here and the Arduino chips that are normally about yay big, they can get to be about as tiny as that in reality, so you can make some really nifty embedded components that are very tiny. And as far as Alan knows, he's the only person that has really done a whole lot with this, so we're excited to see where it goes. This is the vinyl cutter. There's Blaine Pierce. Pierce is the guy that kind of takes care of the vinyl cutter and does all the cool stuff with it, so there's all kinds of amazing things hiding around in the bathrooms here. Let me go ahead and turn the light on so you can kind of get a look. Admiral Akbar on the toilet. That is another one that he's responsible for. And there you go, you can see the mustache, no cat. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Good stuff. Let's keep on moving. Now over here, this is my area. This is the bio lab. I took over this little kitchenette, so we do everything in here. Right now we're doing dirty stuff, so it's going to be fermentation and distillation, all kinds of fun stuff. I'm trying to get some mycology stuff started and some algae stuff started, which should happen at some point today. There's some scanning electron micrographs going to be put up. Real neat stuff. In here, in our cabinets, we have all this storage space. We got 24 bottles and a couple of jars of some of our triple Belgian homebrew. And over here is my last bottle of homemade ginger ale. Really, really good. I'm going to be saving that for tonight whenever we have more folks here to let them taste it. Down here we have our big carboys. And I've got some new bottles of bale top, so we don't have to use the capping device, but we can. I got a couple of brew pots for beer. That tank in the back is going to be for our algae. And I have another member that is a big-time vermiculturist. We're going to try and get some worms in this tank so that we can have our own maker worms and feed them organic waste and educate people about organic gardening and so on. And moving through here, oh, check this out. We have a gentleman here that restores old pinball machines. This one is from the 1960s, and this one is from the 70s. And if I remember correct, there it goes, ladies and gents. Check that out. Old mechanical functions. Let's go ahead. Woo! I'm just playing with one hand, but yeah. Check that out. He took this from an old model. Everything inside it is original, so it's not got any kind of solid state. It's all electromechanical. It is traditional comes. This one actually has a plunger. Cool stuff. He's still working on this one, but when it gets up and running, we'll have 2 operational old pinball machines in the space that are free to play. Check it out. There's our motto. And here we have our conference room. This is usually where board meetings happen. We've got a nice bowling alley that we dissected and turned into a big conference table, welded the base together. There's also a big Delta 3D printer in the back over there that we're working on. Once again, really nice big screen TVs. That's our little piece of history there. That's the first thing that the Makerspace ever put together as a team. That is our MakerBot Cupcake 3D printer. Cool stuff. And in here is the Monroe side classroom. Now this is a new classroom. It's very fancy. We've got 2 giant screens. The lights in here can be adjusted so that if you want to have a presentation at that in the room, you can make it lighter or darker as you prefer. Or if you want to have someone standing here, you can turn the lights on behind and leave the lights on forward, or vice versa. It's a very versatile little classroom, and it's a very popular place for people to have classes that involve computers, because they can connect them up directly to those HDMI screens. So you have a lot of things like Blender classes happening in there. But yeah, we've gone from one side of the space to the other, just giving you a brief tour of everything. I recommend you check it out on www.dallasmakerspace.org to learn a little bit more about it. Thanks for joining me on this little adventure. Take care out there, folks.